Today I hope to help you with how to quiet your AC unit. If quiet is in the description, I hate to see noisy. So I've already gone through a couple of different options, one of which was to stretch across a bungee cord and hang a blanket down in front. When this is closed off and the air is being forced back to the back, it is almost impossible to sleep with this running. Now, I've tried the earplugs and they work okay and usually fall asleep, but the idea has been to create some sort of a sound baffle. Sound is very directional. Simply blocking the sound would have worked, but then we had a sheet hanging down. And it led me to the next idea to create a prototype. The first prototype was some sort of a cardboard box. I found the biggest box I could find and cut around on it, worked on it for a little bit. This box was not big enough. Maybe a cardboard box that is big enough would have worked. I cut it out. I dropped the unit down just a little bit. And a tip for you, if you're dropping this unit down, when I first opened up the 4 screws, there's a total of 6 screws on this. Oh, there's high. We didn't even have it on high. I thought I had it on high just to start the video, but let's turn this off. 2 on each side and then 1 on each end. And after I dropped all 6 screws, it wasn't coming off and it was hung up on the filter. So the filters do have to be removed. And once you remove the filters and the knobs also, then the whole thing is going to come down. I put a couple of rubber washers in between each of the 6 screws. So I may take it back off and take that off, because one of the original ideas for this particular version was to jam it up that way, push it up, but it didn't fit in the back. I cut a hole to, at nighttime, run this AC with all of the air going that direction. After you've cooled off the cabin, the air conditioner does a good job of cooling. The problem is it's just too noisy. This idea led me to the next. I've got the prototype built and I'm going to show you that in the various steps. And we're just now about to try to put this into position here just to see how our measurements have gone before I make some final cutting on it and before I start putting Velcro. The measurement is pretty good in this piece right here, this foam core. This is a 22 by 28 and it's actually the right size, right on the money. I cut it so that the edge is going to fold up and that's where the Velcro is going to go. So at nighttime, we'll be able to just put this into place and have the sound baffle it. So let's see how it's going to sound just initially. And this is not going to be 100% because I've still got this fold here. I'm going to cut out some dog ears here if this works. So here's low. And we'll run the air. We'll close this vent. So the only vent that's going to be open is the back. If I get through this without a serious paper cut today, this is going to be a nice accomplishment. Okay, it can get a little quieter. I think it'll get quieter once I get it into place. Another idea I have is to use some soundproofing material on the inside of this box. That's sounding pretty quiet right there, just with what we've accomplished so far. I'm going to go ahead and finish off some things and check it one more time here. For this stage, what I'm going to be doing is, and you can already see I've cut one side right here. My goal is to make a partial cut through. So I'm using this special trimmer that has a blade sticking through, and this came in a kit. What I'm going to do is use the straight edge of the ruler. I'm using it for 2 reasons. One, the blade doesn't go down too far without having to adjust it. It's just right. I'm going to stand on the other side and make this cut right here. I've measured out 4 inches and 5.5 inches on this mark right here, and then I'm using the ruler itself, the thickness of the ruler, for this Loker mat trimmer to go down just right. Then for the next cut, I'm going to go ahead and go all the way through the board. And I'm going to use a different razor. Extra careful at this stage. Should have some sort of safety glove on. Alright, so this last cut, I can go which went all the way through already. Alright, and then we can just break this right here. Now we've got 2 sides ready to go. For the end that is going to be closed, I went 22.5 inches to allow for the 1/4 inch on each side. What I want to do for this version, just to see if it works, is to use some gaffer's tape. This is different than duct tape, and it's a superior product. You can buy it at B&H Photo Supply or Amazon, I'm sure. But Gaffer, Gaffer. So we're just going to tape this box closed together for our experiment. So one of the things I'm going to try to do probably on a third version would be to go ahead and provide an extra lip. This is exactly enough for the depth of the air conditioner. I could probably go a 1/2 inch, but I'm going to go put it into place and see how it looks first. And then I may take it back apart and go ahead and cut halfway through here, and that way bend it over and make more of a formed corner, because I can already see that this is going to be a little bit of a support issue. So I'd go ahead and put the tape down first, and then we'll go ahead and put its end piece on. Another idea, I could run a bead of hot glue on the inside as a means of just supporting this version. So this is why they make you do those science fair projects in middle school and high school. A pretty cool product to got to make prototypes out of, cardboard, people that like to create and invent. So here we have a pretty good formed box. Got a piece of tape forming this corner. So before I put the Velcro on, I'm running a strip of the gaffer's tape, using the back end of a Sharpie to push into the corner that was cut into this foam core here. The trailer in is a Winnebago Winnie Drop 170S. Has a slide. Very nice camper. I did see a video when I was doing a little bit of research, and there's a lot of people out there that complain about the noise. And I did see somebody else made one out of wood. So I'll try to give him credit on the edit of this, but the idea was to get something up and running to maybe go somewhere tomorrow. It's Memorial Day weekend 2019, and like I said, this is just prototype 2 or solution 3, counting the hanging sheet, which only worked so-so. So we've taken a couple of trips during the winter time. We just got the camper last summer. Right off the bat realized the air conditioner was a challenge. I do know that there's a commercial solution, so if you're looking to have a ready-made, there is a commercial solution. However, the one that I found right off the bat, and when I posted to irv2.com forums, the answer was that they were for ducted systems, not for these surface mount air conditioners. So there really wasn't much of a solution that I found, other than finding another YouTuber out there with a wooden box solution, which was real nice because it's got the base already in place. And I may come back and look a little more closely at that solution for a permanent solution. But so far, I'm liking how this is looking. So I do want to watch out for this. So I'd like to use it, but I don't want to break it. So I haven't decided whether I want to put the Velcro mounts with that in mind, to use it as a little support temporarily. I think in use we'll probably still go with the bungee cord at night or something, just to make sure this doesn't fall off in the middle of the night. Alright, so now we're ready to go ahead and apply Velcro. I had a little bit of a thought to go ahead and go all the way across the back with a solid piece of Velcro, just for sound dampening, just because sound is so directional. We'll see how this goes at first. And I do have a couple other things to discuss. One is the location of the speed and on-off controls, or the temperature. So we will have to make a cutout. We'll handle that after this works, if we find out that this works. So far I'm liking how things are sounding and looking. And then one other thing to add some sound dampening on the inside of the box. One of the options is to use some of this moving material blanket and to line it on the inside. And I've already tested it. It sounds a lot better. So I'm going to put the other side of the Velcro on. I need one more piece right there. One tip for your Velcro, when you're cutting it, if it starts to get too gummed up, take some WD-40 and get the glue off. That will take that glue right off. WD-40 or some of that lemon juice type of oil. So we got one more Velcro piece, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the other side of the Velcro, put it into place, take off the back, and then push it up against the ceiling. Let gravity do its work for us. All right. Got each of the Velcro backs cut. Best to go ahead and put them in place, then peel the backing off, as I just discovered on another one. Makes for a real sticky mess. Trying to take the back off and then stick the piece into place. And you'll also notice the fan in the background. That is another key ingredient. So pushing all the air to the back, to the restroom area of this particular trailer. I know you may have a different trailer, but the air is going to be pushed back to the restroom area. But that's okay, we're going to use the fan to push it around. The reason why I was worried about the knob, one, I've already hung up on it once. I don't want to break it. I don't want to accidentally open it because I don't want to push cold air up against this. That could end up being something that collects moisture and then gets wet. The reason why I wanted to go ahead and go as far this way as possible is because this is exactly enough distance and I don't want the sound to go around it and then come back that way. So, all right, let's see if we can stick this in one stab. That Velcro to start to stick. Now it did start to stick. I don't know if I got it in the right place or not. Okay, it's a little wider. Kind of knew that already on the back here, but I think that's going to be okay. You know, I don't think we're going to have to use. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. Now, Velcro does have to set, so I'm not going to leave this. Hopefully, I can get this off without removing the Velcro right back. May need to use a little spudger on that and separate that. The spatula, but I actually have a special device for working with electricity I may go and get. And I probably should have done some alcohol on the Velcro base. I don't know that I even needed that much Velcro. That is some strong Velcro right there. All right, so that's why we watch YouTube videos. Ideally, what I needed to do was to take some alcohol and clean the ceiling right here. But the Velcro pieces appear to have gone in a pretty good position right there. And except for the cosmetic appearance of the Velcro base on the ceiling, doesn't look too bad, so pretty happy with that. It's really nice and quiet with the carpet in there, but I think I'm going to change it out. This is just a trial for right now. And I'm going to go ahead and so I'm going to remove the screws here. Careful working over your head. Don't do as I do and not have safety glasses on. I normally wear glasses. Good way to drop one in your eye. You have to turn the vent just right on these side two screws. And then if you back the screw out too far, you can't close or open the vent. So make sure you're working with that at the same time. Probably fall out. This one is just right there. So as I already mentioned, you want to remove the filter covers before removing that last screw. I'll go ahead and turn it off. And I think I'm down to the last screw right here, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the rubber washers just so it's flush against the ceiling again, because it's down about 1/8 of an inch. And then you got to remove the knobs. something soft underneath them. Alright, I think they've got one more screw in there that's going to hit me in the head. That one's out. Out. Alright, this one still needs to come out. And it slides over one bracket back here. So I like to use this little metal magnetic bowl, keeps all the screws in the right place. Alright, so I'm going to remove the washers. I'd used these things to separate when I was trying to get the cardboard to work. So what I'm trying to figure out right now is how big of a hole to cut for the controls. And I'm going to make a hole just big enough to put your hand through. And then I'll use a piece of the leftover to make it a little bit bigger to overlap it. So gone about 5 inches right here, and it's actually about 6 inches total, but I don't need it to be quite that big, so it's about 5 inches by 2.5 inches, and I can always go bigger if I need to, but I don't want to cut too big and then decide I should have made it smaller. Alright, so we got that hole cut. Let's go back up here and just finishing putting it back on. Make sure you use a magnetic tip screwdriver working overhead. Doesn't help that I'm working over my helper over here, but he doesn't help retrieve screws that fall down. Alright, so this is with that. It's better. Still not perfect. This is without the soundproofing on the inside. I've got this ready to go, but I want to get this part done first, and it's definitely better. I could probably sleep. Before, even with earplugs, I could still hear it. But I think it's better, so I did make the hole bigger, and I'm probably going to come back and put some gaffer's tape around the edge. I guess I should probably do that before I go ahead. Yep. Alright, sorry for the handheld portion of this video. Here's the spray adhesive I'm using. I'm adding one more bit of soundproofing. I'm even going up underneath the lip right here so that every surface area on the inside is going to be covered with this moving blanket material. And I've left the tab here because the Velcro is so strong. I may actually cover some or all of it, so I left a little tab right there. So I'm going to spray some of this Gorilla Glue on this piece that I've already cut, ready to go. I'm going to put this one on pretty thick because I can't really spray too much on the other section there. I'll put a little bit on the underside here. That probably didn't get too much there. Alright, so we've gone ahead and put the soundproofing material into place. I used Gorilla spray glue and spray adhesive. It worked pretty good. Pretty pleased with it. If this ends up being a little bit too fibrous, I'm going to come back in and spray it with some clear lacquer just to kind of set the material. But I think it's going to work really well. I actually bought these from Amazon as a 12-pack, and it comes as large moving blankets. I think U-tile or something along that. I'll put that in the... Alrighty, here we go. Here's the final version. Probably could have set a little longer on some of the glue, but it's dry. It's all good to go. Volume of the air conditioner is on high right now. It's a lot quieter. May even just leave that like that. You can access the volume control. I can put the little flapper door on. I don't think that's going to make much difference there. And it's not perfect, but if you're going to camp in the woods and be determined to leave your house, I guess this is the best it's going to get. And maybe with the next air conditioner that is supposedly even quieter, this will help to make it perfectly quiet. Probably still going to go with the bungee cord across, just to make sure it doesn't topple down in the middle of the night. But from here, that's very quiet. That's the sound of a fan running in the background. A normal oscillating type of fan. There's the finished product. Hope this helps and saves you some time, and maybe I'll update it with maybe a third version.